Belladonna Cove is back. In part 2, we're going to cover the rest of the playable families, including the Greens, Patels, Peterson family, and the Rutherfords, as well as the 3 families in the sim bin, the Gavigans, Goodies, and Newsons. So let's get started. The next family I play in Belladonna Cove is the Green family. We've seen these two before at the Cordial's house party in part 1, where in fact, they actually fell in love with each other at the party when they were completely out of our control. These two are roommates and have been friends since elementary school. Nothing romantic has ever happened between them until they just autonomously fell in love. Now, of course, if you didn't play exactly the way I did, these two may not be in love. In fact, Gabriel here has a very high chance of actually falling in love with Samantha Cordial. They are best friends and have 2 bolts together. But in this playthrough, unfortunately, Samantha fell in love with Armand and Gabriel fell in love with Chastity. So when we load the lot, Gabriel wants to invite someone over, but he also wants to woohoo in bed. Chastity wants to woohoo and woohoo in bed. So we can satisfy this want pretty easily for them since they're already in love. They live in a house that they actually own. It's not an apartment building, but it is in the poor slums area of Belladonna Cove, and you can see the surrounding area is all littered with trash. And their house is decorated with a lot of the gearhead decor that came with apartment life. So the first thing I'll do is have these two woohoo to fulfill their want. Oh, and actually it looks like Chastity is in love with Gabriel, but Gabriel hasn't quite made it into love with Chastity. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of foreplay here. We're gonna have him kiss her a couple times to get him to fall in love before they can woohoo. That was taking too long for me, so I had them get out of bed and make out because I know that gives quite a bit of lifetime relationship, and we're gonna see if this does the trick. Oh my god, what's it gonna take for you to fall in love? It's hard to get into Gabriel's heart, I guess. There he goes, finally! And now he's staring into my soul. Hello, Gabriel. I'm glad you fell in love. Now back into bed with you. And let's fulfill these woohoo wants. Once again, I would highly recommend using a risky woohoo mod so there's a chance that Chastity could get pregnant. And just while we're watching them do their business here, I'll give you a little glimpse into my gameplay rules. So whenever I have a romance sim like Chastity get pregnant, I will roll to find out if she's going to keep the baby or not. Sometimes my romance sims will try and raise a baby. Other times they will give the baby up for adoption, and that's kind of how I stock my children's home. That sounds so horrible, but you know what I mean. Oh my god, he wants to get engaged to Chastity. No, Gabriel, no. Chastity does not want to get engaged to you. In fact, she fears getting engaged to Gabriel, and she wants to move on and have another lover and make out with another sim because that's what romance sims do. So in this situation, this is a very tough situation to be in, and I really don't know what to do. I think I might have him ask her and see what she says, because he does want to do this. I am letting him propose to Chastity. And it really looks like she's gonna say yes, and this is gonna realize a big fear for her because I don't know why she's saying yes if she fears it so much. Okay, so she's engaged, and I don't often have my romance sims get married, but this is a special case in which one of the sims really wanted to do it. She fears getting married. This is probably gonna put her into aspiration failure if we do this. Let's do it. Gabriel wants to throw a wedding party and get married, so you know what? We're gonna let him have what he wants, but he's gonna regret this big time because Chastity's already thinking about cheating on him with another guy. So this is a relationship that is doomed to fail. If you play and Gabriel does end up with Chastity, it can lead to some really fun drama with her having affairs and things. It's just up to you how you want to play it, but I always follow my sims once, and in this case, Gabriel's gonna try to get his want to get married. Looking at Chastity's memories, she did get a positive memory of getting engaged to Gabriel, even though she feared it. We've thrown the wedding party and the guests are on their way. Here they all come. I invited everybody that they knew. Chastity is just in the kitchen making up some lunch meat sandwiches in her underwear to celebrate her wedding day. There's plenty of room in the backyard for a wedding arch, and you can have a pretty nice view of the city here. For the wedding. So Gabriel and Chastity are standing under the wedding arch waiting on all their guests to come gather around and watch them get married. I feel really bad for Chastity because she does not want to get married. Well, she fears it, but she's gonna go through with it anyway, so that's her choice. And here they go. I love Chastity. She's one of my favorite Sims in Belladonna Cove. She's really fun to play. I always like playing romance Sims. I don't know why. I know some people don't like it, but I do. And now they're married. So Chastity is now Chastity Green. And they already live together, so there's nothing else to do here. She did realize her fear, but she didn't even go into negative aspiration, so I guess she's okay with the marriage. Now, Gabriel is a knowledge sim, and he's gonna have a lot of knowledge-related wants. Chastity, of course, is gonna have a lot of romance-related wants, and I'm gonna go ahead and lock in Have Two Loves at Once, so we can get started on that drama as soon as possible. So Chastity did get a negative memory of getting married to Gabriel because she is a romance sim, and she didn't truly want to get married. I'm not exactly sure why she went through with it, and now it's time to consummate the marriage. The only time I force my Sims to woohoo is on their wedding night. So I'm just gonna have them do a regular woohoo. Of course, normally I would have them do a risky woohoo. Gabriel here, if you didn't know, he has the twin pregnancy modifier, so he has a much greater chance of having twins whenever he does have children. So that might be a really rude awakening for Chastity to wake up and realize that she's just gotten married to a man she didn't really want to marry, and now she's pregnant with twins. So there's a lot of potential for fun in this family. So the next family I play in Belladonna Cove is the Patel family. The Patel family consists of Ramir Patel and his wife Anna. As soon as we load the lot, Anna is pregnant with the couple's first child, and she has the want to have a baby, so of course I'm gonna lock this in. Now, this is another one of those families that I don't find particularly exciting, except for the fact that they're going to have a baby, and I love Sims babies. Once the baby is born, I find them to be kind of a run-of-the-mill family. Ramir is a city council member. He is just a father and provider. This is kind of a very stereotypical family, with the father being the provider and the mother being the mother? Anna is focused on getting ready for her first baby. She appreciates that her husband is such a good provider because she wants to have many more. She works as a hostess in the culinary career, but a lot of times she'll have the want to quit her job after she has a baby or two. And Ramir here makes plenty of money. Just like the rest of the families in Belladonna Cove, this family is exorbitantly rich. They have 25,000 simoleons, and they don't live in the greatest part of town either. They live very near to the slums, which are just over here. I would consider this to be it's not a bad part of town. It's a middle class part of town, but I don't feel like they should have 25,000 simoleons. They have a very nice apartment, and upstairs we have an unfinished nursery along with a master bedroom and bathroom. So the next thing I'll do is go ahead and furnish the nursery for the new baby. And of course I buy all of the nicest stuff, because why not spend some of that cash they've got? I buy the nicest crib, changing table, potty chair, and a couple of toys just to start with. So basically, when I play this family, I'm just waiting around for the baby to be born, honestly. It is nice to play a family where the husband and wife have a very good relationship. They have a very happy marriage, and it's fun to have lots of babies with them. Once their family starts growing more, which it will, because Anna's a family sim and she always wants to have a lot of kids, I will usually move them out to the suburbs in a house so that they can expand their family even more. A lot of times, Anna and Ramir like to have their breakfast or their dinner outside on the patio. I love these little closed-in patios that these apartments have. These are some of my favorite apartments, I think, in Belladonna Cove. I also feel like these two flirt with each other autonomously, like a lot more than most of my other couples do, especially considering neither of them are romance sims. At about 5 a.m., Anna will go into labor. She and Ramir were sleeping, and she woke up going into labor at just a little after 5 a.m. He's freaking out, of course, and she's about to give birth to their first child right here in the bedroom. Now, she can have either a single child or twins, although most of the time it is a single child. There is a possibility that she could have twins. And the baby will always be born with, of course, black hair and brown eyes, because those are the genes of both of the parents. And here we go. Oh no, we can't see what it is. Come on, get out of the way. Oh, let's see. It's a little boy. I'm gonna name him Ravi. So this is Ravi Patel. And of course, he's an adorable little Sims 2 baby. He looks just like every other Sims 2 baby, but I still like to get in there and look at him. Anna's been given 3 days off of maternity leave to take care of him. I'll have her play with him, cuddle him, feed him, and then we'll go ahead and put him to bed. And of course, Ramir is very happy for his first son to be born. If we read Ramir's bio, it says, Ramir has always been a leader and hopes to be a great father too. He loves his job and wants to ensure the financial well-being of his family. And I believe the family bio says that he hopes his son follows in his footsteps in politics. That may or may not happen according to whatever little Ravi wants to do with his life. Next up, I like to play Jessica Peterson, another of my favorite Sims in Belladonna Cove. Jessica lives here in the Main Street Mobile Homes trailer park. It consists of 5 different trailers, and these will all be occupied by different Sims, different townies. Jessica lives right here in the middle in this very pink and very girly trailer. Now, Jessica, of course, is a fortune sim, and it's alluded to in many different places that she is a gold digger. She used to be married to Armand de Bateau. He caught her cheating and divorced her, and now she's going after Carlos Contender, the next richest guy in town. They currently only have 1 bolt together, but that's not going to stop her because she's not in it for love, she's in it for money. Her bio says some girls have all the fun, and Jessica was always a little precocious. While Armand was adding up his riches, she was adding up her exploits. She's been getting closer to Carlos Contender and his wallet. Maybe it's time to invite him over. So even though she doesn't technically have the want to invite him over, I use this little prompt right here at the end of her bio to guide me on what to do. So I'm going to be inviting Carlos over. Unfortunately, she works as a record store clerk and she has to go to work in about 15 minutes. So we'll have to wait until she gets home. One other thing I want to talk about with Jessica that bothers me a ton, and I have heard your guys' comments in the previous video, and I know that you guys feel the same way about how every family in Belladonna Cove is just extremely rich and it makes them kind of boring to play. That especially applies to the families that are supposed to be poor, like Jessica Peterson. She lives in a trailer. She works as a record store clerk. There's no way in heck she would have 14,000 simoleons just sitting there in her account. I hate this. It drives me crazy. I mean, I guess you could go with it and say that she got some of that money in a divorce settlement for Armand. So if you wanted to go that way and you wanted her to keep the money, you could definitely just pretend that was it. But I hate that. I feel like Armand would have made her sign a prenup and she wouldn't have got a cent out of him. So what I like to do is do a little cheat. So I'm going to press Control-Shift-C to open up the cheat console and type in family funds space Peterson space the amount of money that I want her to have. Now I'm going to take this all the way down to 1,325 simoleons. Press enter. I just feel like this is a much more realistic amount of money for her to have, and it makes her more fun to play in my opinion. Jessica just returned home from work, so now it's time for us to invite Carlos over. It's always a pleasure to see you. I'll be right over. When Carlos arrives, I have Jessica go and greet him. He's kind of slumming it. He's slumming it coming down to the trailer park to see a younger woman. Now, they don't currently have any romantic feelings for each other, but Jessica is sure willing to try. I'll try to fulfill any wants I can for her. Right now, she wants to talk about hobby, so I'll have her talk about her hobby towards him and see if I can get her to roll anything romantic. Although he just jumped right in with a back rub all on his own. Now she has rolled nothing that is helpful to us. Oh, but they're going in for the kiss all on their own. Kiss romantically, okay. And they just got a crush and fell in love with each other. That was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. So now I'll just spend the afternoon with these two and see if anything else interesting happens. Somebody was saying in the comments that they feel like the Belladonna Cove Sims autonomously flirt and do romantic interactions more often than in other neighborhoods, and I have to agree with that. I have noticed that that's the case. I don't know if that's programmed in or if that's, I mean, it must be, right? I couldn't find any information on that, but it definitely appears to be true. Jessica's cooking some macaroni and cheese, but it turned into blackaroni. That's what she's serving him. Jessica, you gotta try harder than that if you want to get Carlos to marry you. But hey, he's not complaining. He came right in to grab a bowl. Well, Carlos enjoyed his dinner and it's getting late. She hasn't rolled any more wants towards him. Now, obviously, if you were playing with ACR, which is a mod also known as Autonomous Casual Romance, they would probably have already woohooed or something by now. But because I'm just playing this playthrough series with a vanilla game, not much interesting is going on right now. Except for he keeps going and hating all of the flamingo statues. He really dislikes those. He thinks they're tacky as hell. It's getting pretty late. It's around 11 o'clock. I've pretty much played through Jessica's first day, and she was able to fall in love with Carlos, so I think that's good progress. In the future, when I came back to play her round rotationally, we'd keep working on that relationship until she got him to marry her, and then she could move into his big fancy house, take all his money, just like a gold digger does. That's pretty much the plan for Jessica. Now we're going back up to the hills, to the rich part of town, to the Rutherford family, which is, of course, Jeff Rutherford and his roommate, Connor Weir. Now, we saw Jeff before whenever we played the Cleveland family because Jeff is Marissa Cleveland's younger brother. The family has worries about him squandering the family fortune. He was born into money just like Marissa, and he is very adventurous, very free-spirited, and also he's in almost a relationship with his brother-in-law, Jason Cleveland. Jason, of course, as we saw in the first part, is gay, even though he's married to Marissa, and he is quite interested in his brother-in-law. They have 2 bolts together. They have been hanging out in the hot tub together, and Jeff wants to woohoo. He wants to flirt, and he wants to be BFFs with Jason. So I don't know how we could get any clearer of a signal than that. But first, let's meet Connor. We saw Connor briefly at the cordial house party where Kimberly was not interested in him. Connor, unlike Jeff, was not born into money. He had to work very hard for everything that he has. He had to work extra hard to be able to live up here in the hills in the fancy part of town. He is a junior executive in the business career, and his bio says, Connor Weir enjoys his roommate Jeff, but wants to find that special someone and start his family. He's never had Jeff's advantages, so he's worked as hard as he can to get where he is in his career. It alludes to the fact that he wants to meet a partner, even though he really has no wants towards that. His romantic prospects are limited. The only females that he knows are Samantha and Kimberly. Samantha's already taken by Armand, and Kimberly has no interest in him. So he's a sim that I would probably have go out to community lots and see if we could meet a partner for him. So we're going to start instead with Jeff because we know what we want for Jeff. And we know what Jeff wants. He wants some love. Now, Jeff also works as a junior executive. Jeff and Connor work together, and they do have to go to work. Actually, they're supposed to be at work right now. Why it is 9:53 a.m. when you load this lot, I do not understand. I don't know what Maxis was doing with the times that they started these lots, or if they even put any thought into it whatsoever. Because when you start playing, these two are going to miss a day of work, which is going to hurt their work performance. So you can either have them walk to work, which is what I'm going to do with Connor, or you could have them stay home today, which is what I'm going to do with Jeff. Once Connor leaves, then Jeff is going to invite Jason over. Nope, Jason is at work. So I changed my mind. I'm actually going to have Jeff go ahead and walk to work since there's nothing we can do here to take care of his wants. I'm going to lock in Woohoo. While they're gone, I'll give you a quick tour of their lot. So they actually live in a house together. This is Jeff's house, but he lets Connor live here as a roommate, and it is super nice. They have a lot of fancy furniture. I mean, just look at those chair backs. What's fancier than that? Tell me. Oh, and they're already home from work. That didn't take long. And then also check out this TV. They have a giant screen TV. Seriously, I don't think I've ever put this TV in anybody's house ever. But I don't usually play with super rich Sims. Okay, Jason is available. We're inviting him over. He's asking if his friend can come too. No, Jason, your friend cannot come. Don't you know this is a booty call? So Jason is here and Jeff is coming out to greet him. Jason also rolled the want to ask a sim on a date. So we're gonna go for it. We're just gonna ask Jason if he wants this to be a date once we greet him. Will you go on a date with me? I know you're married to my sister, but you can't deny the attraction between us. And he says yes. So these two are now on a date. Now, because Jeff is a romance sim, I'm going to go ahead and give him his aspiration benefits, which includes the ability to smooth talk. And we're going to use that on Jason. Oh, I don't know why I like this relationship so much. I do feel really bad for Marissa, but she has to have suspected that her husband is actually gay. And now they have a crush on each other, so we're moving forward. Oh my goodness, so he just fell in love. Jeff just fell in love with Jason, but strangely their chemistry went down to 1 bolt. I'm not sure exactly why. What are his turn-ons and turn-offs? His turn-ons are fitness and swimwear, and his turn-off is fatness. We should have had Jason change into his swimwear to make him more attractive. Maybe they can go on a swim date next time. And Jason just fell in love with Jeff. So they are both in love with each other now, and now he wants to woohoo with Jeff, Jeff wants to woohoo with him, so it's time to take this relationship to the next level. You can hear Connor playing the piano downstairs, trying to mind his own business while Jeff brings some dude home. Now they've taken things upstairs, and we're just gonna go for the woohoo. Now, if you had same-sex pregnancy and a risky woohoo, then you could possibly have a potential for a pregnancy, but I don't do same-sex pregnancy in my game because I don't feel that it's realistic. The only way I let my male Sims have babies is through alien abduction, because that's realistic. But it's more realistic than 2 dudes getting pregnant, okay? So I bet Marissa is really wondering what's keeping Jason so long, but he can just pretend that he's hanging out with Jeff, and Marissa's not going to think anything of it because she is in deep, deep denial about this. So I'm sure you can see the possibilities for drama and intrigue with this whole family love triangle situation going on. Now that we've played through all 11 of the playable families in Belladonna Cove, it's time to play through the Sim Bin families. Apartment Life came with 3 additional families that can be found in the Sim Bin: the Gavigans, the Newsons, and the Goodies. So I'm going to start with the Gavigans. Uprooting and moving to a new town was something that Nathan has always wanted to do. Mary loves him dearly and would follow him to the ends of the earth. Where will they end up? Will they be able to find happiness in a new location? I like to move the Gavigan family into the Sentinel apartments with the Rileys because there is a little playground for little Isaiah to play in, and there are other children here for him to meet as well. So that's the reason why I choose this one, although they could technically move into any apartment complex that you like. And here they are moving into the Sentinel apartments, and we will choose one for them. I typically just choose the bottom floor apartment for them because it's easiest to get to and to play, in my opinion. So we're just gonna have them rent that. Now, as soon as we load the lot, we find that Mary here has the want to have another baby. So we're gonna lock that in. She and Nathan have no jobs. They have no skills. They're basically just a clean slate when you start playing them. So you could do anything with them that you like. They do have quite a bit of money. We need to use some of it to furnish the apartment, and then I'll be watching to see if either of them would like to get a job. Now, Nathan is a fortune sim, so he typically has the want to earn money. If he doesn't roll the want to get a specific job, and then I'll just get him whatever is available in the newspaper so that he can start earning money. But I give him a day or two to see if he has any preferences. I'll furnish their apartment, and then I'll leave them here to live on their own until we get back to them in the rotations. Next up, we have the Newson family, one of my favorite of the Sim Bin families in all of the neighborhoods. And I know in my early videos I used to say that I hate the Newson family, but it's not that I hate the Newson family, it's that I hate them being in my other neighborhoods, because as far as I'm concerned, they only belong in Belladonna Cove. They are a very difficult family to play because there are no adults in this household. There are 2 teens, 2 children, and 2 toddlers, and the bio says after their parents' untimely death, the adopted Newson clan is faced with the reality of separation and a return to foster care, or weathering the unknown future together. With no parents to guide or protect them, can the Newsons continue to provide each other the safety and security their adopted parents provided? What I like to do with the Newsons is this is a really great way to get a children's home started in Belladonna Cove. So normally in my other neighborhoods, I always have a children's home where I move all the townie children in, and then they are available for adoption for any of our Sims who want to adopt in the future. Now, right now, I don't have a home here that I feel is suitable for a children's home. I would either have to build something new or modify one of the current homes, because none of these houses out here in the suburbs are really big enough. I think the largest one is 2 bedrooms. Most likely, if I was playing this neighborhood seriously on my own, I would probably place an empty lot somewhere over in this big empty area, and I would build a home for them. And then another suggestion that I have is I usually move in a townie adult to sort of run the orphanage / children's home and watch over them and earn the money for the household so that they can all go to school and they don't have to worry about taking care of their needs. So that's one way to play. Another idea you could do is, if you didn't like the children's home idea, is we could move them into the trailer park. Now, this is another fun way to play them. They do have 47,000 simoleons, which I assume is an inheritance that they received when their parents passed away. So they do have plenty of money. But to make things a little more fun and a little more struggly, you could move them here into the trailer park, which is what I'm going to do right now. So here are the Newsons moving into their new trailer park. Now, I will move them, when I play them in the trailer park, I move them into this largest trailer over here on the end, right next to Jessica Peterson. Yes, we want to rent this apartment, and because they have so much money left over, you don't have to worry about them getting a job. They can still continue to go to school. Gavin and Ginger can still continue to go to school, and they don't have to worry about working. Now, here's another possibility. There are really a lot of possibilities with the Newson family, and they're all really fun. You can take their money away, put them in the trailer park, make Ginger and Gavin have to get jobs to support their brothers and sisters, and I think that makes a really fun way to play. Make them struggle a little bit, make it a little bit more difficult. So the way you can do that, of course, is cheat the same way we did with Jessica Peterson, family funds. I'm gonna take away everything and leave them 1,500 simoleons. Okay, so now they are poor. Now they live in this trailer and they have no furniture. You might want to furnish their house first before you take their money away. I might have to give them a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is, there are 2 bedrooms. So one is going to be for girls, one is going to be for boys. These rooms are just perfectly big enough to fit in the 2 beds and a crib. And then I usually give them a little nightstand or something, just a little bit of extra furniture, not too much, because this is obviously not a rich family. So then I also gave them a little bit of living room furniture, a love seat, a chair, a TV, and a bookshelf. So now you've got yourself a very difficult but very rewarding family to play. I actually really love playing these Sims and watching them succeed or fail as they choose, watching them struggle in life, and it feels really good when they actually make something of themselves. The final family we have is the Goodie family. These kind of remind me of the Oldie family. They're oldies, but they're goodies, I guess. And they are 2 elder Sims. Having lived full and wonderful lives, the Goodies have decided that it's time to see the world while they find the adventure of their lives. I guess they're seeing the world by moving into Belladonna Cove. I don't know. Maybe they want to go on vacations. That could mean anything. But I like to move them into one of the houses in the suburbs because it does say that they are retired. So I think they're kind of tired of city life and would maybe want a house of their own. I like to move them into this house right here, right next to Carlo's Contender, just because I feel like it's one of the nicer, bigger houses. And here they are moving into their new home. Oh no, what happened? Herbert just told her a dirty joke and they just lost their crush on each other. That is so crazy because that's exactly the same thing that happens when you play the Oldie family in Pleasant View. The same thing happens every time. Wow. But she does want to flirt with Herbert, so they could probably get their crush back on each other pretty quickly. So this is Faith and Herbert. Now Herbert is retired, so he is getting a pension, and so is Faith. She's a retired nurse, so they don't really have to work, although both of them do want to get jobs. So that's up to you if you want to give them a part-time job to have something to do with their elder years. This is a large and spacious ranch-style house that I bought for them, so I will use some of their remaining money to get them a little bit more furniture. There's a lot of possibilities with what you can do with this family. You could also have them get pets. So another fun thing you could do is get Herbert pregnant by aliens and they could raise an alien baby since they both are knowledge Sims. That's another possibility for them. I know when you have elders, I always have to do something to make them interesting or they're just boring to me because they can't have babies. So I'll either have them adopt, raise alien babies, maybe they could breed animals, or I have to have them do something else. What about you? Let me know what you like to do with your elder Sims. As far as the romantic pairings go, I do have some Sims that I have plans for, and others I just let them do whatever, like Connor. Now I usually try to get Marcus Baldwin together with Etsu Cho because they are both toddlers, but we also have the Newson toddlers to think about. So there's 4 toddlers and they could pair up any which way. Of course we have Justin Cleveland and Tara DeBateau, but Tara and Justin have terrible chemistry. So some of you guys were saying in the comments you like to pair Justin and Tara with Gavin and Ginger Newson, and I think that is a great idea, and they will most likely have much more chemistry together. Belladonna Cove is unique to me in that I really do let my Sims have a lot more freedom because there are so many Sims, so there's so many possibilities for them. I just play with ACR and let them do what they like. But leave a comment down below and let me know what you do. What kind of pairings do you have in Belladonna Cove? What happened in your game? I'd love to hear the way that you guys play and what happens in your neighborhood, so let me know down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Also, do not forget to follow me on Twitch, where I am streaming The Sims 2 twice a week. Don't forget to get your Pleasant Sims merch, including Anthony merch that you can find down below. And finally, consider becoming a channel member. My channel members get bonus videos from me, members only live streams, and you get to vote in weekly content polls to help me decide what content to make next. You can find more information about that by hitting the little join button down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys with a new video very soon.